find the gray hair in my beard.
And what's good, everybody? It's Thursday night, live on Touchdowns and Tangents from the Good News radio station. I'm PD Camarillo.
And I'm Kenneth Frank James Barry.
Yeah, man. So welcome, everyone. Week 2 of the off season. It's got some good content to get to, but before all that, we want to thank you for listening. We hope if you do one thing for this podcast, you go ahead and share it with a friend. Share the wealth. Give your Valentine the gift of touchdowns and tangents. Enjoy this show and laughter with someone you care with, or at least a carton of ice cream.
And someone that you really want to be petty with, because let's be honest, in your downtime, after a long day of working, you really just want to release all that petty shit that you didn't say all day. And we just embody that for you.
Yeah, man. Definitely got plenty of petty shit to get to.
With the petty whisperers.
Last week we had a pretty off-topic show, but that's kind of how it goes, touchdowns and tangents, hence the name.
When the Super Bowl's so bad that you and your friends just have social, economic, cultural, and all other types of conversations about life and the things around you because, you know, the game was so bad.
But yeah, takes and tangents for the culture. Same motto it's been since day one.
Culturally concise commentary.
Anyways.
And we podcast like journalists.
Before we get started, one thing I did want to say, and I don't think I really talked about this as much as I would have liked to last week. It was kind of bothering me, and I wanted to talk about it on Anchor, but I just didn't have time, and my phone doesn't have space to download Anchor.
Excuses.
So that's why I didn't do it. But yeah, one thing I did want to say is, we talked about it briefly, our 1-year anniversary on the Good News. So this would be 1 year in a week. But it's crazy to think, like, as much as I get wrapped up about what this podcast isn't and what it could be, like, when I really think about it, like, this is like the first time we've had, like, 2 months since we haven't had, like, technical difficulties of, like, Skype not working and, like, yeah, knock on wood.
I don't know where.
Yeah, this is particle board, but yeah, knock on particle board. Yeah, where we've had full sound, full effects. Shit ain't muted, all that stuff. So it's really a collaborative process. And so we thank everyone who called in last week. We thank everyone who constantly listens, who likes our content, who participates, and all that sort of good stuff. So shout out to FBC Radio for being a replay affiliate. Shout out to the X Squad affiliate as well. Them cats do other things. And yeah, so I just wanted to say that note before we get to the actual content.
Yeah. And shout out to everyone who participates in the chat room. A lot of our people who participate aren't the biggest sports fans, but they pay attention to how sports affect society and other things. And it's good to just have dialogues and discussions that make everybody uncomfortable because you have to kind of, you know, really dig deep, reach back, and think about things. Think about what you believe. Is it true? Is there evidence of it? You know, other people's views. Maybe you're missing something that they have. So, you know.
Yeah, I don't really know what you're saying, but whatever.
I got up really fast to go knock on the door because I was trying to outrun bad juju after what you said. And, like, I'm slinking in this chair, and I'm just like, damn, now I'm at a position where I'm breathing from my diaphragm really hard. So I'm just going to sit up because it's uncomfortable now.
So what do you want to start with? You want to start with Flacco? You want to start with Kareem Hunt?
OG Bobby Flacco?
All right, let's start there. So in case you missed the biggest news of the week, well, because there's not a lot of news. But yeah, Joe Flacco, former Delaware standout QB, first-round pick. What was he, like 23rd overall?
Yeah.
Former, well, not former. What, Super Bowl
MVP.
Super Bowl MVP 1 year versus... in the infamous blackout game.
And
Ray Lewis's fine game.
Beyonce shut it down. But, by the way.
That was like her third halftime performance.
And it was fantastic. You go to slander Beyonce. You just slandered. You said you hated Selena last week. You're going to slander Beyonce during Black History Month.
Which, by the way, a few people have backed me up since.
And I need more evidence because everybody I talk to, Afro-Latinos, white Latinos.
Even my girl who actually listens to Spanish music is like, yeah. Yeah, shout out to my girl. Happy Valentine's Day. But yeah.
Oh, you lazy. You don't have a gift. That's why.
No, I did. I gave her a card. And I gave her a little necklace.
Hey.
But yeah.
Clap it up for love.
I guess we got no sound effects. Damn, just like that. Literally, same show.
See, you jinxed it. This is why I should have been on the boards. Oh, my God. What? Peter, you okay? Fat, it's line in.
I don't know what's
something to do with
going
line in. I'm just saying.
You always say it's line in, and it's never line in. Like, I never have an issue with line in.
Hit playthrough. Now try it. Go ahead, try it.
Line through doesn't work, bro.
Hit a sound effect right now. Hit a sound effect.
Okay, give me push-ups.
Actually, no. It's 9
give me
9
push-ups.
to 10 are muted. 9 to 10 are muted. How many push-ups you want?
There you go. I fixed it.
I fixed it. I just said 9 to 10. How many push-ups you want?
No, it actually wasn't 9 and 10. It was this bar.
Oh, so you just purposely tricked me. What you're saying is you falsely
You old tiny ass sweater looking boy.
First off, it's not a tiny ass sweater looking boy. I'm wearing my CSUN.
What did you say last week? You said
head ass looking ass boy. Yo, first
I was dying over and over again. This and that.
Yo, like honestly,
all right, man, we're bullshitting. Back to Joe Flacco.
When are we not on this podcast?
Yeah.
When are we not?
Yeah, that's true.
Some of y'all at work right now, mad.
Okay, back to Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco got traded for a 4th round pick to the Denver Broncos
and a bag of peanuts,
and essentially what has been called by some other good news radio station personalities from courtside. Shout out to Alex and McHale. The most lateral move of all time.
Yeah, and Himes. Shout out to Himes.
What do you make of Joe Flacco being on Denver?
Case Keenum.
Is it a big deal? Like,
Case Keenum,
is it even worth talking about?
It's a mile high. It's a medium mile high miracle, which is ironic because if you think about it, Joe Flacco ended the Broncos season.
I really feel bad for John Elway because we're literally watching a man with CTE operate a $1 billion business.
Don't use CTE as an excuse.
I'm just saying, like.
First off, by the way,
okay,
got to like 50.
Okay, have you seen John Elway's like first half of his career?
Are we gonna make excuses for a man?
No, I'm just saying
he's never found.
No, I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying we're just watching him.
And he was
we're just watching him bleed out.
I can't shoot
literally his brain just ragging up with proteins and.
Could you stop?
Decaying.
Could you stop, P?
Why? Stop. Because you're feeling an ounce of empathy for John Elway now?
I'm a human being. Like, damn. He's a human being with feelings. Like, I mean, geez.
He got tau proteins in his brain.
You're going to
because he's
going to your own personal sweet.
He's delusional, thinking he could hit lightning twice in the same spot by trying to get another failed, washed out quarterback, former Super Bowl MVP with back problems and a big arm.
Peyton Manning had no arm when he got to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Joe Flacco still has a cannon for an arm. He's just really conservative.
And never had any good receivers? What was the last good receiver you had?
Derek Gibson? No, Derek Mason?
Yeah, and that was
by the way,
that was
way
McNair.
No, he was
that was like McNair's last year.
Steve
Smith, there you go.
Steve Smith, and that's about it.
And he only had 1 year of Steve Smith because he ruptured his Achilles halfway through.
A year and a half.
Yeah, pretty much a year and a half.
But honestly, if you just look at it, they've done a great job keeping that offensive line together. But they're not a pass-first offense in Baltimore. They're a run-first offense. But I think
Denver's going to be much of the same.
No. They are a threat. And I was trying to save this for touchdown or tangents, or take or tangent. But you know what? Yeah, Joe Flacco has all the skills that the Broncos have needed since Peyton Manning retired. A strong arm, mobile enough.
Wait, hold up. You like this move?
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought the Case Keenum was a terrible decision. They should have drafted a quarterback. And we saw how that turned out. Imagine had they drafted a quarterback in this draft. Just saying.
I'm just glad from a biased perspective.
Imagine if they took Lamar Jackson.
I'm just glad that the Broncos took him so the Raiders can't even flirt with it and pretend like that was going to be a good move.
Case Keenum is everything I always said he was, dating back to Houston. And he got his money, which is cool, but Elway showed his desperation. he showed his desperation with the Keenan pick, and you can't hide behind everybody else. You got lucky with Phillip Lindsay because the league he should have been drafted. You got lucky with him. You got lucky picking up Royce Freeman because a bunch of teams passed on him. So your running backs are set, and you got Booker too.
Your running backs are literally always set.
Yeah, but now
like
all three of those guys
had a good. Have they never? Has Denver ever had less than 3 running backs?
That's actually
like when was the last time they had less than 3 running backs? That's
like saying Snoop Dogg runs out of weed. That
yeah, like bro,
he ain't never dry.
Like they be having running backs convert to fullback because they just don't have a roster
fullbacks
spot.
Convert to Ruben Jones, Peyton Hillis. I think was a Bronco at one point.
Yeah, he was.
But after he was trash. They had the dude from Arkansas who was in the back. No, Peyton Hillis was that third guy. Peyton Hillis was the fullback who blocked for Darren McFadden at Arkansas behind Felix Jones. They had Tatum Bell. Yeah, he didn't play fullback, but he was running. They've always had a fast running back, like a game breaker, and that's kind of what Lindsey is. But, their issue is they have young receivers, which I feel like they're going to get better with that. They have
I can see them taking a tight end.
Yeah, they need a tight end. Virgil Green isn't really all that good.
And this tight end class is pretty deep.
Yeah, I could see them trading for Antonio Brown.
That would not surprise me.
Because you have Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders. Actually, it wouldn't work because Emmanuel Sanders said some slick stuff about Antonio Brown. And I don't know, man.
They could easily cut Sanders, though.
They might pick up.
I think he has a movable contract.
Yeah. But they also have the Niners. They're not going to renew Pierre Garçon's contract. And
he
honestly,
could be a fit there.
Because really, you just like with Flacco, you don't need a bunch of. He's proven you don't need a bunch of fancy weapons. You just need a capable offense, and they're going to draft receivers and draft better offensive linemen. That's how I think they're going to focus on. Garrett Bowles is still.
Their secondary was trash last year.
Yeah, but. Their linebackers, their D-line. Their offense was terrible. You got to remember their offense was god-awful.
I'm just saying
like,
we can't. I'm just saying the only reason why I brought that up is because we can't operate under the assumption that the defense is the same defense it was 2 seasons ago.
Oh, no.
Because it's not even close.
It definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
Definitely isn't. But you still have Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. You still have players on that defense who can play. So the defense isn't really a problem. They need to be retooled. Need to reload on defense, but you got to rebuild that offense. And now you actually have a quarterback who can do what you want and be a game manager, and you don't have to have him do anything extra. You just have to make sure he's healthy. And Flacco, he's had foot injuries, he's had a back injury. Like, he's not gonna.
The other thing that kind of gets played out.
They just need
but also is really true
linemen.
Is the amount of offensive coordinators Joe Flacco's had. He's literally had like a different one every year, with the exception of like 1 year. He had
Cam Cameron was there for 2 years?
Yeah.
And he was trash, let's be honest.
So, I mean, in terms of stability, it's not the best.
He might put up numbers.
It's not the best. He honestly hasn't put up numbers since 2015, which I think was under Kubiak. He threw for 4,000 yards, and that was literally the only time he ever thrown for 4,000 yards.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he legitimately could catch fire in this offense. He doesn't have to worry about the run game at all.
Let me ask you this.
He just has to focus on the pass game. You got Sutton. You got young receivers.
Let me ask you this. Is he better than Blake Bortles?
First off, y'all need to stop saying Blake Bortles and Joe Flacco on the same. Joe Flacco is not a bad quarterback. He's just really not the one you want to settle on or get stuck with at the end of musical chairs. You just don't want him either. Bortles is just terrible. Bortles was always what he was when he came out of college, and that 1 year.
If you look at their statistics and where they rank, they're not that far apart. Like, I mean, I mostly agree with what you're saying.
Flacco didn't throw the.
I mostly agree with what you're saying, but like honestly,
Flacco's regrets.
They're not that far apart. Like, they're really not that far apart.
So
like,
one's Kerry Collins, and
like Blake Bortles is a Hall of Fame defense away from being Joe Flacco.
Wow. You realize when he had a great defense, he still couldn't get them to the Super Bowl?
You're talking about when he was a quarter away from beating the New England Patriots and going to the Super Bowl?
And they choked?
Yeah. And that defense was great, but it wasn't an all-time great defense.
Neither was that Ravens defense that got to the Super Bowl. Ray Lewis was mad overrated. Ray Lewis was low-key trash.
But they had
parts
Ed Reed.
Of that year. They had Ed Reed. They had Daenerys Ellerbe. They had Jimmy Smith. They had Ladarius Webb. They had a bunch of young guys on the Terrell Suggs. Ray Lewis, like,
yeah, that tells you how long ago that was. The fact that you called Jimmy Smith and
Jimmy Smith's still playing.
I know, and now they're old guys, but
yeah,
it really does. It doesn't seem that long ago, but when you speak on it on that
hurts because like my birthday is Tuesday and I'll be 27. I'm the same.
Way
age.
to make it about yourself.
I'm the same age as one of those guys. Like, damn. Yeah, I'm proud of my life. Damn. Like, honestly, bro, like, some of those cats were in college, and, like, I remember writing a scouting report on Jimmy Smith. Damn. I'm old. That hurts. But anyway, yeah, when you look at John Elway bought himself some time, and obviously the new league calendar doesn't start till, I think, like March 13th, so his trade isn't officially official. But this was the move that could save Elway or just get him fired.
I mean, can you honestly...
If he messes up the draft...
Can you honestly... Like, if you're the Denver Broncos owner, can you honestly look season ticket holders in the eye when you just fired their folk hero?
Yeah.
Who was the GM?
Did the Chargers fire Schottenheimer after 14-2 season?
Yeah, but Schottenheimer...
No, I don't want to hear it. 14-2.
Schottenheimer was a chief.
What did you just say?
Schottenheimer was a chief.
You're really problematic, aren't you?
I'm just saying, like, can we talk about that? Like, let's not pretend like he wasn't a culture vulture. Like,
first off, where did he have his best seasons?
Okay.
Where his best season was with the Chargers, right?
Okay, fine.
And how did it end?
Are you going to tell me was he a better coach than Dick Vermeil? Was he a better coach than Dick Vermeil?
It doesn't count because Dick Vermeil won the Super Bowl.
Okay, then. Exactly.
And they made a movie after him.
Exactly.
And he was perfectly portrayed by, I think, Kirk Douglas. But, like, down to the crying and everything. Invincible was a really good movie. But, you know, Mark Wahlberg, whatever. You got to look at the fact that Marty Schottenheimer got sacrificed to NFL politics so his son could have a mediocre offensive coordinator career.
Life.
I want to say career, but damn, you just went right to the gut punch.
Upper mediocre life. Let's put it that way.
For a white dude who's the coach of a son, yeah. Like, he went 14-2 and got fired. People really don't understand. Like, I think of Jim Caldwell, who still hasn't got another job yet, by the way. Matt Patricia, who...
It's only been one season.
It's
only been one season, and he's interviewed for a lot of jobs
and didn't get any of them. Zach Taylor don't even have a defensive coordinator.
Bro, you even said Jim Caldwell was underwhelming and deserved to get fired.
No,
yes, you did. You went on record on this podcast and were like,
as the Colts coach,
his time has probably ran out. No, you said the same thing in Detroit too.
Detroit is where Curry's going to die.
He like.
Calvin Johnson couldn't even escape Detroit. Think about that. So how did Jim Caldwell stand a chance? They're thinking about trading Matthew Stafford. Like, they might take a quarterback at 8. Like, don't tell me.
Bazaar still hasn't escaped Detroit.
First off, he a crackhead. He'll find a way to travel. He'll come get you. Bazaar might come get you.
Where's the crickets at? Let me hit the cricket.
Halfway.
That works too, I guess. Right. All I know is now you're just fishing.
Oh, okay.
The Get Right gonna fuck you up. You can't be using the Get Right music. Right? And shout out to them for having their live episode.
Check that out on Sunday for sure.
February 17th at Simply Wholesome. But anyway.
Cause I'm really from Oakland now. Cause I'm really.
Yes, I am. But anyway.
I'm just over here
stupid.
killing the
You're
vibe
stupid.
over here
I swear you're stupid.
playing with the sound effects. My bad.
Pete's happy because he got a new car. It's okay.
Shout out to me.
Shout out to Pete for getting a new car. What? Don't do that again. This is why you can't be able. Dog, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? Why are you like this? All you need is a Kawhi Leonard laugh, honestly. Are you on drugs? Because you took drugs before the podcast and didn't share with me, I'm going to be kind of upset. But anyway. So your point, yeah, as long as Matt,
Oh, wrong.
that was the wrong song. Stop, bro.
Okay,
Stop.
the Juna song doesn't start out that way, straight to the bank. It starts off with the same exact song.
Man, you have,
Which, by the way, let's back up for a second.
what is going on right now?
Let's back up for a
He got
second.
the juice. Okay, I'm gonna let you talk. Just go ahead.
Little Scrappy don't get no respect.
We know he doesn't, but he was on Love and Hip Hop, so
Okay, and so was Joe, your idol.
I still
Checkmate.
That's not even something to get me on. That's nothing to get me on. Like,
All right, man. So the next big topic of the week, man, Kareem Hunt. After all the domestic violence stuff that's been going on with him over the past year,
it was one incident. And
well, no, there was the
backlash.
kick and there was the 2 fights he got into.
But no, that's happened. That happened and nobody knew. It happened way after the fact.
No,
Nobody
he
knew
was
about
getting investigated, but it wasn't.
But
it
it
wasn't.
didn't
It
make
wasn't the
national
catalyst.
news when it happened. That's what I'm saying.
One of them did. One of them was
The
not
kick
known.
did, but not the George.
No, before that one.
the George Atkinson fight
No, there was another one before that. The year before he got in trouble for it.
at Toledo.
No, between when he signed with the Chiefs and like his rookie season, he got in
I'm
trouble.
not talking about the girl. Him kind of kicking the girl.
No, I'm talking about before that.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah, there was 3 of
I only
them.
knew there was 2.
No, there was 3 of them.
That's wild.
Yeah, so there was 3 of them in like not a 9-month period. Like between his rookie season and the George Atkinson happened in training camp. So before that, between the end of his rookie season, he got into another fight at another resort or something. But yeah, so all
Stay out of
that
casinos, please.
led to him getting released from the Chiefs mid-season and essentially being blackballed from the league. No one wanted to touch him.
I don't think he was blackballed. It's more like he was quarantined from the league. Quarantined and blackballed are 2 different things. Not Ed Reed.
What's the difference?
Eric Reed
Explain
was
the
blackballed
difference.
for something that had nothing to do with on the field. Kareem Hunt was toxic, and he had to be quarantined. And now they're like, we're slowly trying to recover.
Literally the only difference is semantics and spin.
Except Eric, Eric Reed didn't,
literally how you explain it.
Eric Reed didn't
They're
beat up a
literally the
woman,
same
though.
thing.
Eric Reed didn't beat up a woman.
They're literally the same thing.
Eric Reed didn't hit a woman.
Okay, sure. I'm not disagreeing with that.
So it's like he stood up against like racial injustice and corrupt NFL.
That's not.
owners.
No, we're not. That's not what I'm
So
debating.
that's different than like domestic violence. Or just
Either
violence
way,
in general.
Either way, he got blacklisted from the league. He got an asterisk next to his name. He got crossed off people's lists. That's blackballed. That's blackballed. That means you're blacklisted. You cannot come in.
No,
You're not.
Greg Hardy is
you're not
blackballed.
welcome.
Greg Hardy's blackballed. Kareem Hunt. Everybody. The sentiment was like he'll get another chance. And what did he do? He got another chance. He was quarantined for a while.
But
You have
yeah,
to go
man,
sit
what,
down.
what do you make?
Ray
Of,
Rice is
what do you make of him
blackballed.
going to Cleveland?
I think it's stupid because you have Nick Chubb and Duke Johnson. Like Chubb is faster and more explosive than Hunt. So I kind of don't understand why you would sign almost the same running back.
I think that is one element of it, but
The
let's
Colts
not
would have been perfect.
I mean, there's a lot of places he could have went that
The
would have been better
Packers.
football wise. Yeah, those are some good ones. The Raiders,
The Jets,
I don't know, Eagles, even Chicago.
the Buccaneers,
There's a number of places, but ultimately,
Arizona.
I just think we got to stop pretending that NFL players going to their home state it's always a good thing because it's really not. And I'm not sure if him playing in Ohio,
Is gonna
being
help
from
anything.
Toledo and being from Ohio is really going to help him.
Yeah,
He might need a fresh start, and
he's in Kansas City, so I mean, it's
that's what I'm saying. He might still need to be out of his element because the stuff that happened to him happened in the off season. So
maybe his home base was in Ohio. That's how he made it through Toledo University.
yeah, I don't know.
We don't know that. Like it's. I mean, he's working his way back.
But the other thing is, he most likely has some serious like
Anger management.
management issues, and being
still-
being in his element is probably going to bring up more triggers and
Maybe
not be the best for his recovery.
I just want to know why the racist white girl didn't have her family's name dragged through the mud the way the media did Kareem Hunt's family, because it was really unnecessary.
Because she's not a public figure.
Doesn't matter. Neither were his parents and people in his family.
Yeah,
weren't
but
public figures
that's
either.
different. That's different.
No, that's not different.
That's Twitter. Yeah, it is different. That's Twitter.
No, there were stories published about his family members, and there's a deep-rooted history of violence. Like, bro, they're not public figures. Why are you saying no one knew who his parents were and certain people in his family?
I didn't see anything on that.
There's literally like a hit piece on Kareem Hunt about violence in his family.
I feel like you low key get a lot of fake news on your feed.
No, that's not fake news. Like, it was like, I think it was not the National Enquirer, but it was like a big time like media. I don't remember which one. It was like a huge story. It came out because it was after the NFL interview, and it came out of a story about his family and violence that he had been through. And it's like, okay, but you're not doing this to the girl who was shown, and people and police reports are saying that she was being racist, fighting other girls there.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
I see it. His dad's been arrested 35 times.
and how is his dad a public figure? Oh, wait, he isn't. We're not going after that girl's father, but we sure said this whole family's full of criminals, and this is why he's a criminal. It's like, bro, you're not the cops. So, like, why? Like, the hell, it's like I didn't see any stories about Des Bryant's parents outside of no.
Yeah,
let me finish.
we did.
Let me finish, because after the situation with Jeff Ireland asking him, like, what did your dad pimp out your mom when she was a crack whore, and all those disrespectful ass questions. Like, you didn't see it. Like,
nah,
7
I don't
years
know
into
what
his career.
I don't know what you're reading, but that's really not what this story is even about.
To even mention his parents' criminal background has nothing to do with what happened
It kind of does.
in Vegas. Okay, well,
He has 35 criminal charges.
What does that have to
related
do with
to
the
what?
white girl calling him
Related
the
to what,
N-word,
though?
spitting on
What
him,
is it related to?
hitting him, and
What is Kareem,
fighting
what is
other girls
Kareem-
in the
What is
party?
Kareem Hunt's criminal activity related to? Let's see if you even read the story.
First off,
What is it related to?
it's related to the fights, the multiple fights he's been in. I know all that. I get all that.
No,
And the Vegas
Kareem Hunt Senior has 35.
I'm talking about Kareem Hunt Jr. The
Yeah,
story about his parents.
I'm reading it. I'm telling you what it is.
Okay, I just didn't see any stories about the girl who tried to assault him, assaulted other people at that party. Like, if we went off the
His
police
dad
report,
has been
everybody-
arrested 35 times for
Okay.
domestic abuse
Okay,
to his mom.
okay, I get that, but again, I'm gonna go back.
So
to the
that's
test.
not relevant.
No one was asking these questions before this incident happened, so it wasn't relevant. Nobody asked these questions at the combine when he was coming out of college.
Okay,
Nobody said
KB,
his
you're the
father-
first person
like,
to be
bro,
like, we got to have these conversations in our community and stop
Okay.
stop
But
enabling
nobody knew this
enablers
information
and
until
predators
nobody
and stuff
knew
like
this
that.
But I'm saying this was not public information when he was coming out of Toledo. Everybody was like, "Oh, he has no red flags." Literally, you can go back. What's his face? The dude with
His cousins,
No, the
and
fam-
his
the dude with the
cousins doing
famous hair.
his cousins doing 23 years for voluntary manslaughter.
Nobody talked about this when he was playing football at Toledo and going to the NFL draft. Excuse me. None of those famous NFL draft analysts were saying, they're like, Kareem Hunt, good kid, clean bill of health, had a rough upbringing.
His brother caught 2 years
That's what I'm saying. This information only comes out
His
when athletes get in
stepfather
trouble.
caught 8 years.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, this information isn't brought to you. It's the first thing you hear about a person. It's when they get in trouble. And that's what I don't like about what certain people in the media do to athletes. It's like, oh, let me drop all this information to create a circumstance.
Again, like,
they're punching upward.
Okay, can you be honest? Did you actually read the story?
Yeah, I did, but I'm still saying.
Where was it at? What story
Bro,
did you read?
I don't remember. I read it when it came out, and I don't remember the website it came out on.
Well, because here's the thing. The story that I'm reading, the original source, is not painting it in that light. The story that I'm reading
about the national
is presenting...
media, not the person, the outlet.
This is the national media. This is USA Today.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is the story that I'm reading is not presenting it as like, here's why Kareem Hunt is a bad dude.
ESPN did, though.
Is a bad dude. No, instead, what it's saying is, this is what he comes from. This is what he comes from. This is factually where he comes from.
Okay, but did this come
And
out
so-
when he was coming out of college? Did this story,
Kenny,
this information only came out because he got in trouble again?
Because
And
why?
then
Because why?
of the Vegas situation, all those three
But why?
things. Because it was a domestic violence situation.
But why?
Why do you keep asking? But why? I literally
Okay,
answered the
Kenny.
question.
So do you think it's justified if you're a prospect and I start asking you, yo, what's your family's criminal history
That
like?
information didn't come out though.
But
It
that's what
didn't
I'm
come
saying.
out at all.
That's what I'm saying. So
it
like,
wasn't a non-issue.
can you let me finish? Let me finish.
It wasn't an issue when he was.
Can you let
leading
me
the Russian.
finish?
You cut me off, but okay.
Okay, I'm not even gonna get into that because you
get
cut
what you're
everyone
saying.
off last week.
No, actually, people cut me off and then never answer my question, and then just start
All right,
bringing
man.
up other points.
Okay.
But, we
All
can
right.
talk about that too. But whatever.
Anyways, like I'm saying, the questions are justified because it's news. It comes out, and yeah, if that stuff never happened, then yeah, it's off base to ask him about that. But again, this story is not like, oh, this is why Kareem Hunt's bad. This is telling the story of his background, where he comes from, and really, in order to say this is what he comes from, like in order to get people to empathize that he's not just some
No one
bad
empathized
dude.
with this dude, bro. No one empathized with him when this came out. No one did.
That's what I'm
major media
saying.
organization,
That's what I'm saying.
They use this story as negative PR against him, and I'm saying when he came
What
out
I'm
of
saying
college,
is he did this story. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling
It's
you.
just family
He
history.
did
I
this
understand.
story to show people where he came from, so that he could see that
it got
this
twisted in the
isn't
media.
just some random thing that happened.
Okay, you're missing my point because I'm agreeing with what you're saying.
Like,
That I'm not disagreeing that the information should have never come out. I'm saying it's convenient how information comes out about athletes way after the fact when we probably could have found this information when they were first coming out of college in the first place. Which, by the way, had this information all been known when he first came out of college, he probably wouldn't even got drafted, bro. Let's be honest. Would he have gotten drafted if you knew all this information? Would teams have really taken a chance on him as high as he got drafted?
how many people in the NFL have this background?
A lot, but do you hear about
Exactly.
it? But do you hear about it? A lot of
Exactly.
people. There's a lot that don't, though.
Because
There's a lot that don't.
it doesn't matter until you make it matter,
no, it
which
does matter.
he did. He brought a news peg to it.
Okay.
He made it relevant.
Des Bryant's situation mattered, A, because of the NCAA wrongfully took away his eligibility, but because he had red flags coming up, and they looked at his personality, how he played, the way he talked, how he did things, and said, you know what? This kept coming out as he was getting drafted. He still was drafted in the first round, as he should have been. But it was an issue then, and guess what? It didn't follow him the rest of his career. When he led the league in touchdown receptions, nobody's talking about how his mom was on drugs and his dad was doing all this, that, and the third. That's what I'm saying. It's convenient when this information comes out,
Kenny,
and it's annoying.
Kenny,
I just think
you
it's
know better than that, bro.
I know that.
It's not convenient. It's a news peg. It's news.
Yeah,
Like, it's not convenient. It's news.
It's news is convenient though. Like
Because
it's convenient
somebody
to know this information.
because somebody did something to make it convenient.
I'm saying.
What I'm saying is
the narrative changes.
This is a book.
Yeah, of his
This
life.
is a book of his life, right?
I get that.
And it's just a happy memoir of like, this is what I came from.
I get that.
Until he does something bad to be like,
this is why
This is why we need to talk about this now because this is what I come from.
And I'm not disagreeing with
now.
That. But I'm saying, do you
now
see
what
my
you're
point?
talking about? No, I see what you're saying because
that's all I'm saying.
Because the other side of it is now people come to this story and take the one or two tidbits of it, put it and make it into another story.
Make it negative.
That makes it negative. That's literally a headline that would say Kareem's Hunt father was charged 35 times.
Kareem's whole family is full of criminals, domestic violence committers.
Yeah.
And that narrative.
There is.
Okay. But guess what?
like there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect example. So I'm not just only picking black athletes. Derek Wolfe, he opened up about his family and things he went through and how he came up poor and everything. No one talked about it until like the whole protest came about, and then he started going in on his background and why he believed he should stand for the anthem and this, that, and the third. No one really brings up issues like this until something pertinent happens. That's what I'm saying. So because now that it's being brought up, all these other counter narratives get brought out, and those same people who didn't have that energy back then want to have it now, and it's like, no, that's wrong.
But see, that's my problem with you because you're doing the same thing, but the opposite. It's like you should know better and go out and seek out the original source of the story and dead these feelings that you have because the point of this story.
I don't have a problem with the story. I have a problem with the other stories.
The point of the story is to get people, and there's literally people Kareem Hunt grew up with speaking about Kareem Hunt, basically saying he was different, but at the same time, he's not. And he has people on here saying like you could see it, like that's not Kareem Hunt. Like someone literally said it. That's not Kareem Hunt, but it is him.
Yeah, I understand that.
So that's my issue with it. So then when you raise the question and bring up your issues to it, you're furthering along the negative headline because you're addressing that instead of being like, yeah, this is a negative headline, but honestly, that's not really what the story is about. That's not really what the news is about.
No, that wasn't the intention of the original story.
But that's what I'm saying is you're buying into it. You're taking the bait. You're giving it more.
Okay, maybe, but I'm also calling out the negative. My thing is when shit happens to athletes, there's the story, the actual facts, and then there are people who come up with counter narratives because they probably didn't like the athlete anyway, or they're just so anti-athlete that everything that they write or publish has to be some anti-athlete shit. When it's like they've A, never probably been in that situation, or B, didn't come from that socioeconomic background, or C, a mixture of both. And that's all I'm saying. I don't like the counter narrative after the fact. Don't have all this fake outrage that you somehow managed to muster when you weren't trying to find this information out about him when he first came out of college. Like, yeah, what he did was messed up. I got no heaven or hell to put him in, but he definitely needs some therapy and counseling. And that story helps me understand him more as a human being. But my issue is other media outlets who turn that into a demonization piece on him.
Yeah, no.
That's what I don't like.
Agree
that's
with
the
that.
only thing I'm talking about.
We agree with that, but the thing that I'm saying, and the reason why I keep saying this, it's not the reporter's job to look that up when he's going through the process. Like, I'm
not talking about the reporter.
You're saying
the original context. I'm talking about the people
who
piggyback off the original context.
Okay, but back up to what you just said about how you keep saying how these issues don't come up with the athlete when he's coming through the draft process. That's what I'm saying is it shouldn't come up.
It shouldn't?
It should not come up. Unless there's a reason for it to come up.
Okay, this is a segue into something I wanted to talk about.
Unless there's a red flag that makes you need to go in and go deeper, it shouldn't matter.
Des Bryant had red flags.
Because the draft process should be focused on what a player can do, what a player can be, what his potential is, Now
You and I
again,
both know that's
which
not
is
true.
which is what you're talking about.
That's in a perfect
Which is what you're
world.
talking about. Is it becomes what a player isn't, what a player cannot be, because that's just kind of where sports media is with the whole debate culture.
Like, it's a hot take about a kid's life, but you don't really care about the original story. It's like Todd Marinovich. Everybody knew the type of person his father was and how he was, like, treating the kid. But everything, when rock bottom finally happened, that's when all the other pieces came out about him. People probably knew what type of person Ryan Leaf was before he got drafted. And they said, yeah, this might be an issue. He's a fiery kid. But then when he's a total shithead and just flames out of the NFL.
Shout out to Wu in the chat room. He said the Chiefs definitely knew about Kareem Hunt before. And then he also said, yeah, we're pretty much just raising more awareness about Hunt's background.
Yeah,
which no one knew about.
But my thing is, I'm not talking about the journalist who wrote totally ethical piece detailing his life. Okay, fine, whatever. I'm talking about the people in the media who probably never even tried to research this kid's background before. Probably didn't even read the original article, just saw the article when it came out and was like, see, that furthers what I already think about him. And you could almost do that about any athlete,
you kind of did.
I don't like that.
You kind of did the same thing,
with who?
but the opposite.
Not really.
Yeah, you did. You're literally describing you're literally describing the same thing.
Kind of, but not exactly.
You're literally did the same thing, but the inverse. You're like,
no.
See, this is why I can't stand media, because y'all just disregard black athletes as soon as you get a chance.
See, I wasn't even making it a race thing. I said athletes in general, because there's a bunch of athletes who get bad raps, and like Aaron Rodgers, perfect example. He don't trust the media. That's why he records all his own interviews. But that dude has next level trust issues, like trust level issues I haven't even unlocked yet. But there's a reason why athletes don't trust the media, and it's because of people who come out with all these fake clout chasing viewpoints after the actual hardcore reporting is already done. But they didn't have those viewpoints beforehand, before the athlete got in trouble. It was just like, oh, let me jump on this because it's a trending topic.
All right,
that's
man.
trash to me.
All right, man. Well, Keith got a question. He asked, will the NFL draft from the Alliance League? So that's a good segue into the Alliance League. So in case you missed it, the Alliance League made its debut this past Sunday. Christian Hackenberg played like trash. According to KB, he cussed out the dude who the center didn't even block anybody. It was embarrassing. Like, he was like, I'm not gonna say the F word this episode, but he was like, who the F didn't get this guy? Like, how did you not see? How did he get through? Like, it was a dude, you could tell the way the play was designed. The person who blitzed, like a corner coming from, or a free safety coming up all the way downfield. Like, that dude should have been the last guy to get a sack on this play, or just even hit the quarterback. And the center didn't block anybody. He was just out in space, just blocking air. It's like, it was embarrassing. And Hackenberg, I honestly don't think has had good protection since high school. Yeah, and
like, he had no protection at Penn State.
On Keith's question, so basically the Alliance Football League is going to be its own league. So no players won't get drafted from there, because most of these players
were NFL washouts.
Greg
Ward Jr., Ron Brooks.
So if anything, they're trying to play their way into getting another training camp invite.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Trying to get one last shot in the league, more so than getting drafted. Which is good. I mean, it gives players another opportunity. I don't know. See, I don't know if
they beat out the NBA ratings.
See, they did. They did 2.9 million.
Badly. They beat them badly.
And it was a good game. They beat out OKC and Houston, which was a good game Saturday. But yeah, I mean, would you honestly rather play in the Alliance Football League or Arena Football League?
Alliance.
So you'd rather play in something new that's kind of similar to what you know,
already folded already,
than something that's like slightly different in its own thing.
Well, here's the thing with there's less spots on an Arena Football League team.
Yeah, that's true.
And I miss the LA Avengers. I wish they would come back.
But you can make it. You can build a little cult following as a arena football player.
What's the last Arena Football game you watched?
I be catching them. I'll catch like 5-10 minutes of one
At the
going
gym?
through. Yeah.
When they have it on like NBC,
Yeah, I would.
the 7th NBC sports channel?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that AAF
I used
game,
to like watching arena football.
yeah, when you could find it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like watching TNA wrestling, but now it's just Impact Wrestling. You got to find it on the internet. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would rather. There's eyes. There's almost 3 million people watch that game of cats who are never going to make it to the league. Or just not going to make it.
Trent Richardson?
Never going to make it back to the league either. Greg Ward Jr. has a Super Bowl ring, I think, because he plays for the Eagles. Jalen Marshall played for the Jets, who honestly, he should have just stayed at Ohio State. He shouldn't have left as a redshirt sophomore because he was a quarterback turned receiver and only played receiver for like 1 year and just washed out with the Jets and a bunch of other people. But hey, who knows? Maybe he'll get better and he'll get a training. Like, I think of Bobby Scipio, who played in the Arena Football League forever and then finally got a shot with the Chiefs and he was trash. But it was because he's one of the greatest.
And Keith in the chat bringing up the lingerie football league. He always finds a way to bring that up.
You always find a way to pigeonhole that one in, man. You been to a game yet? I mean, nah. Like, there's some baddies that play, like, and they hit really hard.
And there's the Pacific Football League, which happens in the fall. CFL, soon to be the XFL. So
all these FLs.
Yeah, there's a big pipeline coming down. All right, man.
There's different types of football. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. All right, so the next big topic of the week, Kyler Murray is all in on football. That's right.
Paid back a signing bonus to the Athletics.
He could potentially become the first player ever to be drafted in both the first round of the MLB and the NFL.
Does he get a draft invite?
I don't know. That's interesting because honestly,
he got a combine invite.
I mean, is he really a first round pick?
If Russell Wilson can do it, I believe.
But Russell Wilson was a third round pick, which high concerns. Yeah, someone tweeted
he was 6'2",
high concerns were the reason Brock Osweiler got drafted before Russell Wilson. Like, just think about that.
Could you hit the boo for me, please? Could we just boo that? Osweiler just should have stayed another year. He should have just stayed until his eligibility ran out. Shout out to Michael Berkovici, who kind of played like trash in that AF game. But, yeah, like if Kyler Murray was 6'5", he'd be the greatest athlete of all time. So it's like if Antonio Brown was 6'5", everyone would say he's better than Julio Jones.
Is Kyler Murray better than Lamar Jackson?
No. Don't disrespect.
Okay, then.
The GOAT like that. Don't disrespect the GOAT. I'm tired of y'all disrespecting the right-hand Michael Vick like that. And by the way, Lamar Jackson was a better prospect than Michael Vick coming out of college. So there. Oh, really? Really? You said on record like, yeah, Lamar Jackson was better college player than Mike Vick. Don't get me started.
I did say that, but
you did say that.
I didn't say he was a better prospect overall.
Are you sure?
I said he was a better college football player. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Thank you for walking. You walked it back. I know you're a Michael Vick stan, and you talked to him face to face, so you can't just totally be like, yeah, I thought Lamar Jackson was better than you coming out of college. I get that.
I said he was a better college player, a more complete quarterback than Michael Vick was coming out of Virginia Tech,
better.
which is definitely true.
And I'm just saying.
But as an overall prospect,
had Lamar been allowed to start,
but as an overall prospect,
well, yes, because we know what
Lamar
Vick's 40
is not.
time
Lamar's not doing the things that Michael Vick was doing.
I don't know, man. If you put Lamar Jackson in that time period, we don't know. We don't know.
See, Michael Vick.
Vick's faster?
Michael Vick became his own verb and noun. You know why? Because he was from
Virginia Beach.
Exactly. He did not give a fuck. He was not trying.
We weren't going to say the F word on this week, Pete.
Well, it was necessary, so I said it for prominence. Point is,
you just want to say it because he was
no,
on ATL.
I said it in good taste.
He was racing people in the parking lot on ATL. That's why you saw it. You said it. You didn't see that
The
episode?
point is, The point is,
But no, for real, did you say
what
that
I'm saying is Michael Vick became a character of his own because the league,
cultural icon
because the league had never seen anything like that. Yes,
and couldn't contain
but
him.
2, he embraced it. He embraced being a left-handed black quarterback from Virginia playing in Atlanta, being a cultural phenomenon.
4.2 speed.
Which Lamar Jackson, his personality is not like that. So he's kind of doing the opposite of it.
But why is his personality like that? Because we're in a different time period.
Well, yeah,
and the way
definitely.
Michael Vick was the Allen Iverson of football.
Exactly, yeah.
So you can't. If you brought Allen Iverson into this time period, he probably wouldn't even made it out the first. He probably would have been a second round pick. They said character issues, and they wouldn't have drafted him, and he would have gone on to be a great player. So you can't say like if Lamar Jackson was really allowed to be himself. And by the way, his mother is his agent.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying is he is being himself. He's just not that guy. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
There's only one Michael Vick.
He wants to be a quarterback.
Cloth of Michael Vick. But yes,
game wise, but personality and like the way he attacks the game is completely different.
But again, also
he wants to be a quarterback.
This ain't 1999.
Michael Vick didn't want to be a quarterback until people started making him be a quarterback. Like, let's get that straight.
Nobody ever
Michael Vick
did Frank
saw
Beamer
himself.
Make him play from the
Michael
pocket?
Vick saw himself as a football player.
Exactly.
Period.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson sees himself as a quarterback
because he knows they want to see him as just a good football player who can go play receiver. How many teams do you think wanted to play Michael Vick?
How many times you hear Lamar Jackson talk?
A couple times.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he answers. He sounds like
he
sounds like a young Russell Westbrook. His ability to not give a fuck hasn't exploded yet. No, because you hear him talk, and Russell Westbrook was kind of quiet too.
He's not. No, he's not like that.
He's not.
Trust me,
Personality-wise, he's not like
that, bro.
But with the media, I'm saying with the media,
Russell Westbrook was a homebred high school phenom who went to UCLA and then Seattle and Oklahoma. Like, yeah, he wasn't the same Brody that he is now, but it was always there. We always knew that was gonna happen.
Oh, and
Lamar Jackson is not like
Kodak
that.
Black? Are you
Lamar
sure about that?
Jackson is not like that.
He's from the South, bro.
Lamar Jackson is
he's from the South. That's a different kind of. It's a different kind. It's like a mirror. It's like we look at the mirror and see Michael Vick. They look at us and see something else. You know what I mean? Like the South is a different kind of swag. That's why after he scores touchdowns, he does that little dance that Kodak Black does. I'm telling you, like, don't get it confused with cats from the South. And because their Southern demeanor comes off as they're more quiet, them some wild boys.
It's not even that it's more quiet. He's just the way he sees himself.
Yes, I agree.
He sees himself,
but we don't know if that
differently
would be the same thing
than the way Michael Vick saw himself.
If those two came out in the same draft class, you would have to, like, he came up differently. He just came up. It's the internet age. Lamar Jackson was doing highlights. Like, it's a different era. And I feel like it's like the grandfather paradox. You can't go back in time and kill your grandfather. I look at it as like Michael Vick is it's like a grandfather to a Lamar Jackson.
It's just a whole completely different swag. It's like the dude
and a different mindset. Yeah,
it's
one
like,
wants to actually be a good quarterback, and the other one could have been a great quarterback had he actually put in the time.
But even besides all that, it's just the way they perceive themselves, the way they carry themselves. It's like you got the dude who like knows he's the shit and wants to be the shit, and then you have the quiet dude who's like quietly the shit. And
he knows he's the shit too, though.
Yeah, but he's not loud about it, and he doesn't want to be loud about it because that's him.
Because it won't work if he's loud. He can't. Not everybody can be Michael Vick. Not everybody can be that outlandish. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do this, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Not everybody can be Mike Tyson.
Lamar Jackson is like a Klay Thompson. That's what it is. He's like
no. I get it. I got it.
He's an assassin.
Mike Vick is Kobe. Lamar Jackson is Tracy McGrady before the injuries.
No, stop.
Really?
No, Tracy McGrady's not a quiet and humble guy at all.
What?
Tracy McGrady's
kind of
not
a humble guy.
Don't get me started on Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady's
now you hate Tracy McGrady
too? Tracy McGrady got humbled because he got sorry and trash at the end of his career.
Wow. You are disrespectful, sir.
Tracy McGrady's honestly, I love Tracy McGrady coming up.
Doesn't sound like it.
As a kid coming up, but like now,
those Adidas shoes, one of the greatest shoes ever made.
Now it's like Tracy McGrady has like this cult following, and
he's
like the buzzworthy player you bring up that's underrated. It's like, bro, get that shit out of here. He honestly doesn't. Honestly, Vince Carter deserves more respect than Tracy McGrady. First of all. Wow. Second of all, Tracy McGrady.
They're cousins, bro.
Tracy McGrady was really only on par with Kobe for like 2 or 3 years.
5 years.
And even Kobe has
5 years.
Even Kobe has said he's done it both publicly and privately, shitting on McGrady multiple times. You think Kobe sees McGrady in the same light as him?
Kobe's like,
no.
You could have been me, but you just chose not to be.
No.
Kobe has more of a killer instinct than Tracy McGrady ever did.
But what I'm saying is, the reason why I said he's Klay Thompson is like, yeah, he's an assassin on the floor.
Is he not Kawhi?
But he's not that assassin like throughout his whole entire life.
He can't be Kawhi, though?
He could be Kawhi.
I was like, Kawhi's a better he can stand alone by himself. Like, don't disrespect Lamar Jackson like that.
Klay's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but not everybody thought Lamar Jackson was going to be a Hall of Famer coming out.
Well,
by the way, is it weird how
only
Bobby
had 1 year?
Petrino,
we don't even know if he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Exactly, so you'd have to give it to Kawhi early.
And if you ask,
when Kawhi came out of San Diego State, there was
And if you ask Lamar Jackson who his GOAT is, do you know who he would say?
Trick Daddy.
Teddy Bridgewater. So there you go.
That's a Florida boy, though.
Florida and Louisville.
Okay, then. That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of person that Lamar Jackson is, to where he's humble. He understands where he is.
I feel like he's more in the Dante Culpepper vein. Bro, you hate Dante Culpepper too?
Dog, Dante Culpepper is in the same lane as Tracy McGrady, but with way more injuries.
That's disrespectful.
Dante Culpepper literally have a love belt. Dante Culpepper was literally the leader of the only team to go 6-0 and not make the playoffs at the time. I think since there's been 2 teams that
was his defense's fault.
And don't forget the fact that they came one quarter away from a Super Bowl.
That wasn't his fault, and he wasn't the quarterback of that team. He was still at UCF.
I thought he was a backup.
No, it was he wasn't even drafted yet.
I think he was.
No, because that was him and Randy Moss started at the same time.
What year that was that?
99,
what year
2000?
was that? Was that the year the Rams went? With the Rams
98 was the year of the Vikings, I think, because Morton Anderson and what's his face? Randall Cunningham was a quarterback. So it's like, yeah, damn, you hate all these people. Like, that's for Dante Culpepper, Selena, Beyonce, McNabb.
Shout out to Woo in the chat, says if he was 6 foot, he would have got a D1 offer. And yeah, man, if me and Kenny cracked a sub 540, we'd probably be D1 athletes too.
If I didn't shatter my leg, I would have probably went.
Keith agrees with me that Vince deserves way more credit and T-Mac is way overrated for 2 seasons. Yeah. Anyways.
But you're a Panthers fan, Keith.
That's true.
How much different is Dante Culpepper?
Even though when you
how much different is Dante Culpepper and Cam Newton? Let's talk about it.
Okay,
that's a pro comp right there.
Stop.
Oh, it's not.
No, stop.
You sure about
that?
Don't
ever disrespect Cam Newton.
Who's a better passer though?
Don't ever disrespect.
Who's a better passer?
Don't ever.
Are you just
saying
that? You really think Randy Moss made Culpepper's career, and I'm upset about that.
I love Dante Culpepper. I've always loved Dante.
So don't act like Dante Culpepper was trash, bro, because he wasn't. He had Mike Tice as his offensive coordinator and head coach, and no defense. Fred Smoot is the reason the Vikings
and Miami
sucked.
And Oakland.
He tore his ACL, MCL, and he tore all his CLs.
He's a quarterback.
He tore all his CLs,
He's a quarterback.
He went to Miami.
He's a quarterback.
Hey, you know what? He sacrificed by going to Miami, and Drew Brees went to New Orleans. So he made a sacrifice for the world. Respect Dante Culpepper's gangster. That's all I'm saying. Stop shitting on Dante Culpepper. You shit on so many pop culture figures this episode. It's amazing. Who else you don't like?
You know what's really going to make you upset and really make you backtrack this whole argument?
Because you hate Isaac Bruce and it makes me mad?
You know what's going to change this whole argument and make you backtrack this whole thing?
What?
Once you realize that Dante Culpepper is the original Blake Bortles.
I
probably
should
his
murder
mentor.
you. First off,
And probably
I could stab you for
probably
that.
brought him on a recruiting
39
trip.
touchdowns, 11
and probably
interceptions.
brought him on a
11
recruiting
rushing
trip.
touchdowns.
Probably brought him
Wow.
on his best season.
Go look at his numbers.
Which I've been
Go
on
look
the
at
show.
his numbers.
I've been on.
He was Cam Newton before Cam Newton.
I've been on this show.
Oh my God,
and
I'm
said
mad.
Dante Culpepper would have won MVP if Tom Brady didn't have a great year and Donovan McNabb
Nope.
a great year that year. He should have been third for MVP that year.
I'm pretty sure it was like a co-MVP thing.
Not the year I'm talking about.
Wasn't it McNabb? And,
No, you're talking about McNair and Peyton.
No, but was it Peyton and Culpepper, or was it Culpepper,
No.
or was it McNabb and Peyton?
No,
Who won MVP
it was
that
it
year?
was McNair and Peyton, and I think that was the year after. I'm talking about the year Brady threw 48 touchdowns. Yeah,
No,
and
that
McNabb
was
threw
way after.
McNabb threw like 36, and
No,
Dante
he
threw like
31
39.
and 8. He threw 31 and 8.
Yeah, and Culpepper threw 36 or whatever.
Culpepper
38.
threw 39 and 11. Stop being
Yeah,
disrespectful.
whatever.
And that was before Randy Moss. That was with Randy Moss. That was years after. Your timeline is all off. You realize he threw those 39 touchdowns, and most of them were to Randy Moss that year? So Randy Moss couldn't have been on the Vikings and the Patriots the same year? Yeah.
Yeah,
Fact-
you're right, because I meant Peyton Manning.
That's
That was
why I
the year
said it was Peyton Manning.
set the record first.
That's what I'm saying. It
Yeah,
was
that's what I meant.
Peyton Manning and McNabb, right? Or was it Peyton Manning and McNair? Because Culpepper, I think, was a co-MVP.
You ready for this? How many times did Dante Culpepper make the league? All right, wait, hold up. No, wait, let's back up.
That
hold up,
question made no sense.
Hold up, back up.
How many times did Dante Culpepper make the league?
All adjourn. It's time for fan court.
We gotta have like,
Kenny, you stand on trial for standing for Dante Culpepper.
I stand for Culpepper. Oh, head ass, hairline ass, head ass boy.
Okay, first question. How many times did Dante Culpepper make the playoffs?
Twice, I think.
Once.
That's because they were trash.
Okay.
Their defense was trash.
Next
Corey
question.
Chavis was the best player.
Next question. How many times did Dante Culpepper throw for over 3,000 yards?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's correct.
Think I don't know. Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, the sound of him stalling is like, oh, he just shit his pants and realized that.
No, this is bad. That's why. All right.
Go for it. I can handle it.
How many career interceptions does Dante Culpepper have? And how many career touchdowns?
I want to say somewhere in like 150 to 98.
You're actually pretty good. 149.
Oh my-
106.
Dog. And I'm not. Are you counting the Miami and Oakland years? Because I don't. I only count up to Minnesota because he was not healthy in Miami. Don't
No,
count
he
them.
had 1 year where he threw like 24 picks and 18 touchdowns.
That was like when he first started out, bro.
No, that was his third year, and he had already been a Pro Bowler. 2 years.
Minnesota was really bad. Like, what don't you understand?
no.
Minnesota had
That
Mike
was the year.
Tice was
Actually,
their head coach.
that might have been the year he was on the Madden cover.
No, it wasn't.
I think that was the year he was on the Madden.
It was
cover.
because
He was on the cover 02.
He was on the cover after. No, wait.
He was on the
McNabb
cover before
no.
Eddie George, which was
Wasn't he on the
03.
cover twice?
No, Culpepper was on the cover for 2002.
Because there was like different game systems that had him on different covers. That's why I'm not thinking just PS2 or PlayStation.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He was on a couple different covers. Oh, they have like different.
Nah, he was
for
on the cover
Xbox.
of
They had like different covers, but whatever.
Yeah. Oh, and you were forgetting about Detroit, Dante Culpepper. I totally.
I told you I don't count anything past Minnesota because he wasn't healthy.
Damn, I totally forgot he was in Detroit. That's bad.
Yeah, when he had no cartilage left in his knee. That's not fair, bro.
He was actually 0-5 that year.
Because it was Detroit when they
Damn.
sucked.
Okay, are you ready for this stat now?
Yes.
What was Dante Culpepper's
Disrespectful.
record in his last 10 games
Where?
as a starter?
Where? In
Well,
Miami?
he ended his career in Detroit.
He's probably like 1-9 or 0-10.
Close.
2-8?
0-10.
It was Detroit. This doesn't count.
Yeah,
this
bro.
doesn't prove anything other than that he
With Calvin
he
Johnson.
was never the same. They went 0-16 with Calvin Johnson. Let's talk about it.
Okay. You want to talk Minnesota?
They went 0-16 with Calvin Johnson. Let's talk about
what
it.
was Dante Culpepper's career QB rating in Minnesota only.
I don't even care
in Minnesota
about QB
only.
ratings, bro.
Just answer it.
I don't. This is.
Give me a number.
Let's see, a good QB. Probably in
Perfect
the 80.
QB rating is 160.
Yeah, I know. No, it's 159.
Yeah, 159.
1.
Whatever.
I'll say like a 92,
You're pretty close.
94 maybe.
Pretty close.
98.
88. Which puts
And
him
I'm
at.
still close.
Puts him at.
These are ballpark. Like, bro.
No, I'm sorry.
still
No, I'm sorry. It's
hitting-
91. His career is 87.
And I said 92, right?
Yeah, it's
I'm
91.5.
hitting literal triples, bro.
Okay.
I'm getting to the warning track on you.
So
And
you're
still getting on
The
base.
point is, you're saying
I was
all
really
this-
close to everything you said.
Okay, my verdict is in. The point is,
This is a push.
so you clearly know stats on Dante Culpepper,
I think I won this one.
but yet
What do y'all
your
think?
judgment is still clouded enough to say that he's good,
He
despite
was good
the
in his
fact,
era.
despite the fact
Okay, bro.
that in Minnesota alone,
They had no defense. Fred
He
Smoot
threw
ruined the Vikings.
86 interceptions.
And how many touchdowns? Like 130?
Yeah,
140? Tell me where I'm wrong, people.
That's trash. We're not debating
That was a
you're
different
wrong.
era.
We're not
They ran the
debating
ball
that you're
more in
wrong.
that era. Who
We're
was
not
the starting
debating that
running
you're
back?
wrong.
No. Who was the starting
This is not your
Michael
court.
Bennett was.
This is not your court.
I get the
So
rebuttal,
shut the
Your
fuck
Honor.
up.
I
No,
get
you
the
don't.
rebuttal. Yes,
No,
I
you
do.
don't. Shut the fuck up.
This is the
Shut
fucking,
up.
This is the jury trial.
Yes, it is.
No,
Shut up.
there's
I'm
no
giving
jury
my
here.
verdict. God damn it. So despite the fact that
You're
you
a terrible. You
despite
don't know how
the
to run a
fact-
courtroom.
despite the fact that you clearly know Dante Culpepper's stats, you still allowed that to cloud your judgment and think that he's way better than he ever was. So
I want to change the
This
venue.
judge-
This judge is unfair, Your Honor.
this judge
I want to change the venue.
finds you guilty of being a biased ass Stan Dick Ryan boy.
First off, I came in and said I was a stand for Culpepper. So all you really proved is that I was a stand for Culpepper. So because I want to change the venue and I'm coming for your legal license, I'm pretty sure you don't have one. This is a mistrial. It's not even a mistrial. I'm acquitted. I'm acquitted from whatever. You literally had no point. I was right. And by the way, if you're gonna trash Culpepper, you're gonna want to go back and look at Steve McNair's stats too. God bless the dead. And you're also gonna want to go back and look at a couple other QBs during that time. You want to go back and look at Tom Brady's stats back then. They really weren't all that special. Drew Bledsoe stats. Go look that up too. Go look up Drew Brees' stats before he left San Diego. All of them, like throwing 39 touchdowns was really not like something that happened in that era.
Neither was throwing
In the early
24
2000s.
interceptions.
Actually, how many interceptions did Peyton Manning throw his rookie year? 26 or 28.
1 in 15.
Don't care. He had Marshall Faulk on his team.
Ultimately,
You lost, and I just proved your entire point.
Ultimately, this trial sentences you
To no time. I walk. I'm acquitted.
to 2 hours of watching 2008 Miami Dolphin film.
You can get the fuck out of here. I can tell you about Chris Chambers and Jake Long holding every play. Vernon Carey.
And I want a full, detailed scouting report
They suck.
on the 2008
They sucked.
Miami Dolphins.
They suck. They went like 6-10 and didn't make.
All right, so let's move on.
Stat check that. And honestly, go stat check that team. The 2008 Miami Dolphins. You said.
Yep.
Yeah, they were like 6-10, I think. Go back and look. Cleo Lemon was their backup. How dare he try to even come from
Speaking of the Dolphins, so Brian Flores was announced this week as their head coach.
by their black GM,
He's by the black GM.
who's the only non-white GM in the NFL.
Any other thoughts?
They're getting rid of Tannehill, so it's a start.
And honestly,
And I hope they bring back Fred Grimes and Miko Grimes.
I mean, it can't be as bad as, hiring
Dave Wannstedt?
hiring Gase
Gase, Wannstedt.
like the Jets did.
Yeah.
And
or
if
hiring
Flores can bring any sort of insight from the Patriots,
their linebackers.
that's good for them.
They actually have
Maybe the
some-
Patriots won't have 6 easy wins in their division.
It feels like 7 because they usually get the first round bye too. So like 7 wins.
Like literally gifted 7 wins.
Honestly, they're so fresh that like no, I'm gonna give them 8 wins.
Their schedule's so easy. Dante Culpepper could be their QB and lead them to a Super Bowl.
Like Matt Castle did. Nah, don't put Matt Castle in. First off, you're just disrespectful, and I'm really tired of the Dante Culpepper slander. Yeah, read the comments because I'm pretty sure they probably agree with me. And they're probably good. Like, how does he know all this information? I played a lot of
Nobody
Madden.
commented since you brought that up.
That's cool. That's the only thing I've been wrong about. All night.
You feel sad.
I don't feel anything but righteous indignation. But anyway.
I honestly like Dante Culpepper. I don't know why you're standing for him. And
all those
you're
quarterbacks.
making him into a folk hero.
He threw 39 touchdowns.
He was a good quarterback.
Which I'm pretty sure is still a Minnesota Vikings record.
He was a good quarterback.
I'm pretty sure it's still a Minnesota Vikings record that he threw 39 touchdowns.
That's not saying a lot.
So you're saying Fran Tarkenton's trash?
Yes.
Wow, you are disrespectful. You know, you're just very. You don't like Warren Moon. You don't like Trace McGrady. You hate Beyonce. You
The
hate
Purple
Selena.
People Eaters were way overrated too.
Wow.
They're like the most overrated legendary defense.
Like you're talking about the old school ones or the Williams brothers?
I'm talking about the original, the old school ones.
Okay.
All them white dudes.
They had Alan Page. He's black. You just said you didn't even know. You didn't even know their old defense. That's disrespectful.
I don't.
You're gonna get punched in the face by a Hall of Fame. Chris Spillman's gonna whoop your ass. Watch. And he wasn't even a good Viking. He's just gonna.
And I'll just make loud noises like they're mountain lions because they all have CTE.
Wow. Now you have Ohio State manager. No, Chris
I'm operating with malice.
Chris Claiborne, who's a high school coach, I think at they beat Lawndale.
So we're just talking about USC drop bus now, huh?
First off, Chris Claiborne was nice for a couple of years in Madden.
Yeah,
he was nice for a couple of years.
Yeah,
don't pretend like he was
88. He was no LeVar Arrington.
He had great speed, but you got to remember,
he was no LeVar
Madden
Arrington.
ratings weren't souped up until what?
You want to talk about
like after 2010?
You want to talk about players?
Linebackers were slow for a long time.
You want to talk about players who were good for 5 years and
Chris
then
Claiborne
fell off?
Now he's the head coach at the high school that. Oh, damn.
LeVar Arrington was a better linebacker than Dante Culpepper was a QB.
That's true. And he still has his locks.
And Keith Bullock doesn't get enough respect.
I've said, no, you're not welcome to the Keith Bullock fan club.
I've been on the Keith Bullock.
I've been the president of the fan club. I didn't see you at what goddamn meeting.
I've definitely been a Keith
You don't even know he went to Syracuse or he was like the 30th overall pick. Get out my face. He was the one dude who was good every year and fast every year. Like, he's the reason why I love the number 53 for a linebacker.
Yeah.
And got no respect. Him, Donnie Edwards. Yeah, I can't believe I'm shouting out players from the Chiefs. But anyway, we've already talked about the Chiefs too much. And the Chargers. Shout out to Steve Foley. I remember he got shot by a cop, I think, while he was playing for the Chargers. It was wild. He got hit.
All right, man. Well, let's move to Taker Tangent. Here we go. First up.
I feel like, did we talk about everything?
Here we go. First up. So, the dude who pretty much stopped selling Nike is a protest against Colin Kaepernick. Filed for bankruptcy. His store no longer exists.
Oh, broke ass, racist asshole, head ass, dumb ass, racist ass boy.
You got to take her a tangent on that?
I mean, you can't beat Nike.
Somebody said that. Somebody said this on the radio earlier
and hate
today.
Makes you stupid sometimes.
Somebody said this earlier, and I think that him going out of business was not like, oh, because he pissed people off and they protested him. I think
you stop selling Nike.
Yeah, like literally, you don't have a sporting goods store if you don't have Nike.
You shot yourself in the foot. You shot yourself in the face, and you only really hated the side of your ear.
Like, could you imagine walking into a store,
no Nike,
and there's only like Champion and Russell?
Am I like a geriatric, like
like
old timey?
Like he got Riddell cleats in there. Like he got Easton cleats in there. Like what's up,
bro? Why do you have like Payless cleats? Why are there Payless cleats in your store? Payless don't even make cleats. They don't even know how you got that shit. Somebody stole a prototype and just left them there. They stole some bunk soccer cleats that said here. Like why do you?
They have Klay Thompson's cleats.
Bro, they have Shaq cleats. Shaq don't even play.
No, Shaq didn't have cleats back in the
Shaq had cleats.
Yeah, Shaq had cleats.
That's how I know you trash, because you probably you thought about buying them just to break them in at the house when you first I want to play football before high school. Okay, but you got to wear Shaq cleats. Never mind, I'll wait till high school. That was a proposition. That's nasty.
Next one.
I'd rather have Dwight Howard slides. Why you look at me like that?
He
has
just
bad
pausing.
foot.
I was just pausing.
He did the literal embodiment of a pause.
I'm just saying. You trying
That's
to wear
foul.
Dwight Howard slides? Like, come on, bro.
Over Shaq cleats.
Come on, dog.
They both have bad feet now. Your arch is going to be ruined either way.
Dog, can you just stop right now?
Yes,
Like,
that was foul.
You're literally burying yourself in a hole.
I don't
Like,
want to die on that hill, so I'm going to just say I'd rather have Grant Hill orthopedics. I'll settle for Grant Hill.
So, Eric Reed signed a 3-year deal with the Carolina Panthers.
Because he's their best defensive back in years.
After essentially getting tested like every single week and pretty much getting put onto the Panthers midway through the season, playing out his 1-year deal. Should have been a Pro Bowler. But yeah.
Had Pro Bowl numbers.
Got a 3-year deal. You got to take her attention on that.
I'm just glad he's not wearing trash ass 35 anymore. That's the worst number ever. You can't be successful. Name one All-Pro who wore 35. It's 37 or 36.
I honestly
34.
I honestly
33.
didn't know who he was because he wore number 35. I literally just disregard everyone who wears number 35.
Honestly,
Usually that's like
unless
the
you're
fifth
a fullback,
corner.
Dan Kreider,
Usually that's the fifth corner. Like the 35 is a solid number if you're a fifth corner.
Chimsy,
And maybe a gunner on special teams.
yeah, Chimsy Chekwah hit 35 for the Raiders at one point. I think.
Exactly.
And that's when he ceased to matter to me.
Exactly.
Everyone skips 35. That's a fullback number. The fullback gets 35.
All right, Robert Alford was cut by the Falcons, and now he signed with the Cardinals. I think he got like $20 million.
28, something close to it. Something like that.
You got to take her chances on that.
That's actually a really good move for Arizona. They're just going to keep stacking up on. You have Patrick Peterson, so no one's throwing to him, and that's why he's the best corner of this decade. He's Champ Bailey without the interceptions and more athletic. You just have a bunch of other corners on the other side. I don't even know their names. Can you name 3 Arizona Cardinal corners? Outside of Robert Alford and Patrick Peterson?
What? They had Bethel.
Justin Bethel, who's a great special teamer.
They had
the dude out of
Mateo,
Southeastern.
which they just cut.
Southeastern. He went to the same school as Southeastern Louisiana. He went to the same school as Alford did.
Yeah,
you can't name 3 Arizona Cardinals corners. There's Patrick Peterson and everybody else. Alford is a decent corner, and he's best remembered for his pick 6 in the Super Bowl.
Listen, man.
They just need safeties.
What I was gonna say is
linemen.
They don't even need safeties. They have safeties.
Yeah, Budda Baker, and I forget who the other guy is. They just need left tackles, right tackles, guards, another receiver, a tight end. And
they have David Emerson.
So, again, a corner that's going to make
Chris
the team.
Jones and Brandon Williams.
Guys that'll actually make the team.
DJ Swigert.
Swearinger?
Yeah.
Swearinger's a safety.
And Trey Boston.
That's actually a pretty
and
good.
And Budda Baker.
They got damn good safeties, actually.
So, yeah, honestly,
but I said corners.
Like what I was going to say is pretty much like the secondary wasn't the Cardinals' problem. The Cardinals' problem is their offense and their offensive line specifically.
Trash. Outside of Patrick. If they didn't have Patrick Peterson, they have the worst secondary in the league.
Bro, they just had the best secondary like 2 years ago.
3 years ago.
What I'm saying is it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter.
Their defense is
they
good
need to
enough
address the offensive line, which is what we've literally been saying about Arizona for 2 decades.
Just like the team that we mentioned earlier.
Oh, which brings me up to a point that I was going to make earlier, which you could argue the Carolina Panthers, like, over their existence, is like low-key the most successful franchise.
Morally?
No, not morally. No one's making that argument. I'm just saying when you take from
How?
when they started,
They
in
got
the league,
really successful early and have 2 Super Bowl losses.
2 Super Bowl losses and like 5 NFC Championship games.
So did the Eagles, but they actually have a Super Bowl win.
Finally.
True.
But the Eagles have existed forever.
But their 3 NFC title
The
games.
Panthers have
came
only been around
in the
for like
2000s.
25 years.
Damn, I'm older than the Carolina Panthers.
You are. We both are.
Shit.
And when you really like think about that, like
And
damn.
the Houston Texans.
Nah,
Does that count
because
from
they
a-
were trash for a minute. They were
older-
trash
older
for a
than-
solid decade.
That's true. They're like in their teenage years now. Right?
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to make that point.
Aaron Foster said that, they were whatever. Anyway, shout out to Russell Wilson for buying Sierra's Masters and starting her own company with it and them not bragging. Future might kill himself now.
All right,
I'm
next
worried.
one. So pretty much there were rumors circulating. There's been rumors circulating, but rumors circulated that, the NFL would consider Adam Silver for Roger Goodell's position once Goodell leaves. And Silver once again kind of deaded it this week, saying that, he hasn't been approached. He's not considering it. He loves his job. He's always loved his job. Do you got to take her attention on that?
Smart money says you stay with the NBA.
On that same note, man, and I made this point off air, but like when you really think about commissioners in the league, like all time, Adam Silver is really going to be at the top of
3?
the list. When it's all said and done, when his legacy's done, barring any Me Too scandal or anything stupid that he could do,
Looking like Moby.
looking like Moby, he's been
Trying to get stopped by Obi.
he's been one of the most significant commissioners ever. When you talk about kind of how he paved way for sports gambling and legal by talking about it about 3 years ago. He paved way for Vegas, which is going to be the next big sports market. It already is.
He made you forget about David
NBA
Stern.
is going to go there. He made you forget about David Stern. He made you forget about Donald Sterling. Finally dealt with that scenario. He could have handled the Mavs a little bit better. He could have handled the Hawks better. But not everything's perfect. But I think when you think about what he's actually done for sports and sports business as a whole, and not just his own league and not just his own players, but just the overall sports culture, Adam Silver is one of the GOAT commissioners. And then when you talk about how he kind of empowers his players and all that sort of stuff, he's one of the GOATs. But I just want to make that point. All right, man. Last thing before we get to the rants. Antonio Brown, we didn't talk about it, but he still wants to trade. You got anything you want to add?
Publicly announced it, and it should happen.
Yeah, he pretty much put out a video of his time with the Steelers and just said it's time for me to move on.
And honestly, that Ben Roethlisberger isn't accountable for his actions behind the scenes in the film room where it counts in front of the guys, and he fakes it in front of the media, which I could totally believe because he fakes a lot of things and doesn't take accountability for things that he's done outside of the football field or in private. Unlike, everybody else he's ever played with. They're accountable. Mike Vick was accountable for stuff till this day about things he's done. But Roethlisberger just skates by everything. The defense is terrible. Well, maybe Roethlisberger shouldn't be so reckless with the ball.
Speaking of skating accountability, one more thing I will say before we get to the rants. How the fuck is Tom Flores not in the Hall of Fame still?
Again.
Like, seriously, like how
off that list.
How does this keep happening?
Because the NFL hates Raiders.
They really do.
There's a Raider conspiracy, bro. Packers get in every day. Raiders, nope.
But yeah, Champ Bailey's in.
Steelers get in every day.
Pat Bolin's in. Gil Brandt's in.
Kevin Mawai.
Tony Gonzalez is in.
Which, by the way, he's not the greatest tight end of all time.
Ty Law's in. Kevin Mawai's in.
Mawai.
Ed Reed's in.
Everyone's like, Fanica didn't get in.
And Johnny Robinson's in.
I'm all for old-time Hall of
Famers. So why are 2
getting...
Jets in the Hall of Fame the same year? And a Redskin?
Because didn't the Jets and the Raiders, weren't they AFL rivals?
I'm just saying, like...
Tom Flores won't get
No,
in.
honestly, though, I'm really happy for Mawai. Like, he deserved it. He should have got it in a minute ago.
NFLPA president, and they blackballed him out the league. That's why I'm going to hear the PA.
Dog, I totally forgot Ed Reed was on the Houston Texans.
After they won the Super Bowl.
Totally forgot about that. I think I wanted to forget it.
Baltimore annexed him. Yeah, he had like an 87 overall rating in Madden. It was weird. Like, just because he got slow, you didn't want to put him at strong safety because you respected his ball skills too much.
Hey, shout out to Louisiana State for having 2 Hall of Famers in the same class.
LSU?
Yeah.
I just want to know why Isaac Bruce can't get in the Hall of Fame. He was the second all-time leading receiver in NFL history when he retired. Second behind only Jerry Rice when he retired. But he can't get in the Hall of Fame. Okay. All right,
man.
That's
You go first. You go first on the rant. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, this is something we didn't talk about. It was on the rundown, but I'm going to just run through it real quick. The idea of collusion in the NFL is kind of funny. With the NBA, there's a scarcity of talent at the top. Like, the best players, if you don't have one of them, you're not winning. Like, look at the Clippers. They just had a bunch of guys and traded them all. And now they're going to try to tank for Zion, which is kind of cute. I guess they think he might be the next Elton Brand. But whatever. Shout out to Elton Brand, by the way, for being the GM of the Sixers.
I'm not telling you about talking basketball.
You're just mad because I'm talking about nothing but Clippers. But I just wanted to get through that. With the NFL, there's really no such thing as collusion because there's 11 guys on the field.
This guy's really taking my takes from fucking 6 months ago.
No, I'm not taking your takes from 6 months ago, Pete. I hate when people like the narrative, oh, all these cats on Twitter are saying, AB, talk to me. AB, you should come to Arizona. You should come to Denver. You should come this way, that way. He just wants to leave Pittsburgh, and I hope he does. But also, he was a real diva, and he was kind of hating on Juju Smith-Schuster. That kid is a dog. Don't hate on him. He's an alpha, and I'm happy for him. He's in the mold of a Hines Ward, but better. But anyway, it's been a crazy week for me. Pretty much in the process of like having 3 jobs and finishing up school, quitting one of my jobs, but still having to do my last 2 weeks there. And yeah, man, it's weird. Like when you get attached to people and you work hard to see them all the time, it's weird to kind of like let go. And recently, these have been like the best couple jobs I've had because jobs in the past have been kind of on the shitty side. But it's good to have options and better paying options. Because, yeah, one of my financial goals this year is to leave this year with $10,000 in my savings account so I can start buying a property next year and making moves. So, I mean, that's already going to happen. It's a foregone conclusion. And I'm happy with it, and I'm excited about it. But I'm mostly excited because, yeah, I said it earlier in the show, but I'm going to be 27 on Tuesday, February 19th. And for me, it's just kind of crazy because, A, I was born in Black History Month, and B, like the 19th, I don't know why. It's just like it fits as a perfect day. Like, no, I'm not a numerology person, but apparently it's a really good luck. Like the number 19, because it's 1 + 9, it's 10. It's a really good number. I don't know. Whatever. Some dude broke it down to me when I was at Planet Fitness. But to think about all the stuff I've been through in my life and where I am, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing all right. Shit could be worse. Like way, way, way worse. Like all the things I've had in front of me, and I've just found a way to get through it, get around it, overcome it. And that I'm happy about. That's why I'm actually going to the Kettle for my birthday. And yeah, it's going to be dope because it's going to give me a big ass sundae for breakfast. Yep, I'm doing it. Don't care. What else was I going to say? Also, yeah, got a new barber. Another fresh cut. Right now as we speak, I kind of look like a fat J. Cole. And I'm okay with it. Like, there's a certain little... Oh, yeah, that was what I was going to say. I have like 7 gray hairs, and this shit kind of made me depressed for a little bit. I was talking to my grandma earlier today. I was like, yeah, Grandma, I have like 5 gray hairs in my head and a couple in my beard. And my mom was like, yeah, I can actually see that shit from here. Like, she said it with disgust. Like, she caught me with heroin in my arm. Like, I can see your gray hairs from here. How the fuck do you have gray hair at 27? I was like, because I've been through shit and I survived. So, yeah, anyone who has gray hairs out there that's under the age of 30, embrace it. Be proud of it. But just know you're either going to become a silver fox or all your hair, you're going to go like, your hair's going to just die out by the time you're 30. So adjust accordingly and use shea butter. So, yeah, there's that. Be safe. And I'm totally rambling. Pete, kind of waiting for you to just cut my mic off.
Wow, KB waiting for me to cut him off. That's the first. All right.
I'm mature.
You are maturing. All right. But yeah, man. Shout out to me, man. I finally got my new car. Holy shit. It's been 5 months. It's been a journey. Definitely a journey. So on that note, man, I just want to say, you are more than your credit score. You got to know your worth. You got to be patient. And don't take no for an answer. Don't let someone make you feel like shit because of your credit score, because guess what? Good shit happens to good people. You just got to wait it out, man, and don't take no for an answer. That's pretty much what I did. There's a lot of shit that happened along the way, but yeah, the simple way for that. But yeah, man, everything happens for a reason, and now it's like I got a new spot, new house. Things are really looking up. But honestly, it's great. It's great. Like Kenny was talking about, it's great to earn a little bit more. It's great to get more opportunities and all that stuff. And that's kind of what I'm going through too. But honestly, the one thing money can't buy, and I don't know, maybe it can, but usually it can't.
A woman who can cook.
The one thing, like, no matter what your job title is, no matter what you do, no matter what you drive, exactly, KB in the background, is respect.
Respect, my nigga.
And honestly, there's some times where it's like you get in your relationships and it's like, you know, you want to believe in the best. You want to stick things through. You don't want to quit. You kind of see the potential and what it could be. And that's all fine and great. But at the end of the day, if the reality is there's no respect, you're really just wasting your time, because without respect, you really have nothing. Period. So I just wanted to say that, really. I felt like I have something else to say, but I really can't. I've been subtweeting in my rants the last couple of weeks, honestly. Honestly, I really haven't. But yeah, it's kind of been what I've been going through. But yeah.
To double down on what you said about respect, though, like for real, because I see a lot of people, like, they think because you're popular, like, that you earn respect. But honestly, I can get respect from dope dealers and crack fiends and dope fiends the same way I can get respect from intellectuals and, like, scholastic people. It doesn't matter what circle of life you're in. If you carry yourself with respect and you give it back, that's honorable. Have some integrity. And fuck Steve Harvey. He said some of the most cowardly shit I've ever heard anybody say. Like, you know.
And even more so than just integrity, it is partly integrity, but it's also accountability. It's being accountable for your actions, how you conduct yourself. And
there's
really,
no paper trail. If you're accountable, there's no paper trail.
The biggest thing is, man, if you're a dick, you're a dick, right? If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. But
if you're a taint, you're a taint.
But the point is, you might get knocked out in your life. And if you're cool with that, then go ahead and be a dick and an asshole. And to second that, if you have a reason for why you're a dick and an asshole, then more power to you. But, like,
don't just be one just to be one.
Yeah,
though.
Exactly. You need to have that kind of self-awareness.
But if you're really
and cognitive understanding of who you are.
If you're resilient and unapologetic in how hard you work, that's one thing. But if you're just a dick to people just to be a dick, like Steve Harvey was, and he was holding people's careers back, and then telling Monique she should just shut up and take it. That's what I was going to say. Jaleel Adai, that trash-ass safety for the Chargers, decided to say he said have a cheers to saying, let's have more mixed babies. and apparently he has like it was like him and a bunch of NFL players. Let's have more babies with white women. Could you just not disrespect the black women that gave birth to you by picking one gender or one ethnic group to have kids with? Like, love who you love, but don't. That's why when people have kids with people outside their race and they flaunt it like that, it's disrespectful and gross. I don't like that shit, whether you're black or not. Like, love who you love. Don't shit on someone who looks like you look like the people who gave birth to you, and you're gonna shit on them by saying, "Let me have like having a child with someone outside my race is so awesome." Because I don't love myself enough and I'm insecure and I have to say something like that. Especially when no one forced you. Fuck you, Jaleel Adai. You're trash. And fuck Steve Harvey. Moral of the story
I've been
is,
saying fuck Steve Harvey since
honestly,
our feature.
And I could honestly get on him and his boule ass, but I'm going to leave the boule alone.
But
Another
yeah, on that
black
note,
person.
man, happy Valentine's Day. Be good to your partners and spouses.
Love each other. Love thyself, most importantly. So you're not insecure.
And again, man, if you like this podcast, share it with a friend. Enjoy it. Do what you got to do.
Listen to us on Anchor.
It's Touchdowns and Tangents. Wrapping up from the Good News radio station. Shout out to X Squad Affiliate. Shout out to FBC Radio. I'm Kenny.
I'm Pete.
You can catch us on Twitter. I'm at Pete Certified.
I'm at Ozo Grande.
And yeah, man, have a good night. That was a weak ass fade.
Especially like when you said I'm Kenny and then you said your Twitter handle.
Wait, did I really say I'm Kenny?
Yes, you did. How did you not?
Now I'm just trolling y'all. I'm just trolling.
For real, you really was like,
hey, where the fuck was Bob this week?
I feel like we neglected Bob, and it's like he's busy on basketball season. we gotta hear from Downtown Rams again though. Good night.